Hello, welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I guess it was a matter of time before I had to make this choice. I can't say no, except the money. I can't say no to her. If you want to obtain something, be prepared to lose something in exchange. That's the way the world works. Makina wants to use her money to buy me. Might as well let her. It's not like my life has that much value to me in the first place. I go to the crumple bills clutched in Makina's hand. 86,000 yen. Seems like a bit too much of a bargain any way you slice it. Sorry, Makina, but I'm pretty darn expensive. This isn't even close to enough. Give it up. Makina reaches back into her pocket and takes out a lumpy, hairy purse, roughly resembling a mutant frog. Makina's purse is packed full of tin foil from sticks of gum and half-eaten bits of chocolate. Among the crumpled bills and dirty loose change, there's also a single credit card she carelessly tossed inside. Just how many cards do you have? Hey, hold on, this thing is... The credit card Makina casually hands to me is jet black. It's not made of plastic either. Seems to be some sort of lightweight metal, maybe titanium alloy. The name of a huge overseas credit company is etched deeply into the surface of the card, probably by laser. Is this one of those exclusive black cards I've heard about? If I remember correctly, this isn't something just any rich person can get their hands on. It's proof you have a major account in an institution registered with the Swiss Bankers Association or something comparable. Hold on, Makina, why do you have this card? Makina shouts wildly in triumph. She's got something like a checkbook grasped firmly in her hands. On closer inspection, I spot the name of a foreign bank on the cover. Listen, slow down for a second. Counting off zeros in an off-pitch, sing-songy rhythm, Makina scratches down a number onto a check. With a carefree smile, Makina thrusts out the slip of paper toward me. For a moment, I'm completely stunned. It's a check for 70 million yen. Are you serious? As I run my eyes over the check again and again, I feel a sticky, unpleasant sweat begin to seep out of the back of my head. This is absurd. You could build a heck of a nice house for yourself with this kid's pocket money. Even if I exercise my option and keep working my current job right until the retirement age, I don't know if I'll ever save up this much. Wait, this is way too much money. I mean, is this thing even real? I don't remember even taking the check from Makina, but it's in my hand. I hold it up to the light of the sun and peer through it. There's a typical watermark inside the paper. The check itself looks like it was issued by a genuine financial institution.
高額小切手になるから、それなりに手数料とか取られると思うし、その場で口座開設を勧められると思うけど。
I do not know where this is going to go.
今はほら、手数料の安い業者もいるから、そっちでやった方がお得かもしれないのよさ。
Why do you have this sort of money?
お母さんにもらったの。それが私の一生分のお小遣いなんだって。
But you can't just give that to me.
だから今日からパパになるんだし、パパが私にお小遣いをちょうだい。
I see. Hold on a second here. Why am I starting to go along with this? Well, I mean, I do get the feeling that leaving Makina to manage this money herself won't necessarily end well. But why exactly do I have to take care of her finances? Right, I guess that's a natural thing for a father to do. Wait, hold on. I didn't agree to any of this yet, did I?
それで足りないって言われちゃうと、もう無理。
As she speaks, Makina clasps her hands behind her back and begins to squirm around shyly. I follow her gaze toward a secluded thicket. The heck? Is she seriously proposing a quick go in the bushes? I mean, what? How did she get this idea in her head? Amane? Probably Amane. I think I need to have a talk with that woman. How many sighs would this be today? I've lost count. Well, whatever. Fine, I'll allow you to buy me. Well, yourself. As of today, I'm your father. I'll hold on to this money.
足りない分は与えで。
That won't be necessary.
ばっかりじゃね。
Rest assured, it's just you. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, Makina. I drop my hands onto Makina's thin, fragile shoulders and stare her square in the face. I accepted this job, so I'm going to carry it out, but I'm going to do it my way. And my approach might not always correspond exactly with the ideal father you've been imagining. As your father, there's only one thing I can promise you. Even if everyone else in the world becomes your enemy, I'll always protect you.
じゃあ、お兄ちゃんは今日から私のパパ？
That's what I'm saying. Makina falls forward into my arms, the tension draining from her body like a taut string that's finally snapped. I see. All along, this girl wanted a guardian more than anything else in the world. Of course, she had Amane, and none of her classmates would ever hurt her, but even so, something was missing. Something like family, a person who would love her unconditionally, a person who would keep her safe no matter what, a father. She was searching for a long time, but when she finally found a suitable candidate, she didn't know what to do next. In the end, she clumsily threw everything she had in the world at my feet. Makina's lifetime allowance, 70 million yen. Certainly not a small chunk of change, but the amount isn't relevant in this case. She offered me everything. Absolutely everything. Unfortunately, I don't have to think too hard about how to answer that desperate gesture. I'll just do anything and everything I can for her. If that's enough for Makina, there's no reason to second guess myself. I don't have to rack my brains about this job. It's nice that way. Simple, easy to understand, well suited to an idiot like me. And so, as of today, I've become Makina's father. Okay, well, this is new. Old habits die hard. When entering a building, I count the number of exits when walking through town. Every once in a while, I stop abruptly and look behind me. Running every morning is practically a reflex by now, as is scraping my door before I leave. Spend much time in a job like mine, and you'll naturally acquire many small habits like these. Pointless as they might seem, every once in a while they'll save your life. This morning, as usual, I stuck a bit of tape in an inconspicuous spot under the door on my way out. It's a simple precaution against the arrival of intruders in my absence. But in this particular case, the intruders left behind such brazen signs of their entry as to render my little trick completely absurd. Not the most pleasant way to start the day. Makina, so this was your work after all? I'll take the blueberry. My little coffee table is partially occupied by a plate of formidable sandwiches, ham, cheese, and lettuce stuffed between dark, tough-looking hunks of rye bread. There's also a carton of milk and a plastic bottle of iced coffee. Surprisingly decent spread, considering Makina's the one who prepared it. I pour a glass of milk and gulp it down. So tell me, Makina, was it you who blasted through my door? The lock on my door has been destroyed. I'm asking if you're responsible. Amane has a spare key, doesn't she? I see, Sachi, yeah. I did vaguely suspect her involvement from that ends justify the means approach to breaking and entering. Broken doesn't really describe the current state of my door, actually. Melted might be a better word. Specifically, brute force application of extreme heat has left a gaping hole where my lock used to be. At first, I thought they busted out an oxyacetylene torch or something. But then I noticed a discarded coffee can lying on the ground nearby. Its contents, a black lump resembling iron oxide, and a metallic white powder. Give that woman 2 years of training and she'd fit right in with the IRA. Imagining Sachi kneeling beside the door in full maid uniform, silently setting up her homemade explosive, the joke doesn't seem particularly funny.
心配しなくても学校が終わったらサッチンがホームセンターに行って新しい鍵買ってきてつけてくれるって。
If you're going to repair it, then how about not breaking it in the first place?
もう私に合鍵をくれないパパが悪いのよ。
Look at you playing the clingy girlfriend, cheeky brat.
なんだよもう、可愛い娘がさ、朝ごはんの用意して待ってたってのにさ、嬉しくないの？
Well, I suppose.
やっぱあれか？巨乳がいいのか？朝っぱらから裸エプロンで、しかも形ちブリーンと放り出してるハレンチな女の方が良かった？
Hey, now, Amane would kick your butt if she heard that.
だいたいパパは父親としての自覚が足りないんじゃない？娘がおかえりって言ってんだから、ただいまってキスの一つもするもんじゃねえの？
Is that how it works? Sorry, I'm not too knowledgeable when it comes to this particular role.
仕方がないのよさ。だったら教えてあげるから、帰ってくるパートからやり直しね。
What a pain.
うだうだ言うな。ドア開けて、ただいまマキナ、パパ今帰ったぞって言え。
Fine, fine. Stop screaming, will you? Why do I have to participate in some surreal skit first thing in the darn morning? Might I, by some chance, have adopted something of a problem child? Irrepressible unease sends thick drops of sweat trickling down my forehead, very different from the pleasant perspiration I worked up while running. My chilled blood sinks heavily to the bottom of my feet like a lump of lead. But since I accepted this responsibility, I can't do a half job of it. If Makina wants me to play this character for her, I suppose duty demands that I do so. After pausing briefly to exhale, I reach out and grab the half-melted doorknob. I am back, Makina! Daddy's home!
おかえりパパ。
A huge smile is stretched across her face. Makina spreads her arms open wide and takes a step toward me. Probably scheming to throw herself full force into my chest, I hold out my hands to catch the girl and blunt the impact, but... in that very instant, Makina momentarily disappears from my field of vision. What the... Ugh. Before I have time to react, I suffer a powerful blow to my lower abdomen, right around the solar plexus. Impossible. How did she... The breath's been knocked out of my lungs and my eyeballs are wobbling in their sockets like drunken marines in an earthquake, but somehow I managed to turn my gaze down. Makina's fuzzy little head is firmly lodged in my gut. A slide dash? As I crumble to my knees, Makina scampers nimbly up onto my body. Wraps her arms around the back of my head like a Muay Thai boxer preparing to deliver a knee kick, and then... smashes her lips against mine with the force and speed of a spear thrust. Oh. Our teeth knock against each other with an audible thunk. I reflexively try to pull myself away, but Makina isn't about to allow that, swiftly coiling her ankles around the back of my knees. She leans all of her body weight forward in an effort to push me down. Pretty loving daughter to kiss your father on the lips. Struggling to resist Makina's stubborn hold, I brace my abdominal muscles and try to keep myself still. But with my lower body completely disabled, the girl's 40-kilo mass is too much to support. She quickly pins me to the ground. Makina, what the heck are you doing? Wait, hold on. Isn't this a little wrong? I mean, this isn't quite what I imagined when you say, welcome home, kiss. I was thinking more, I don't know, a smack on the cheek or something, right? In any case, I've got to peel the girl off me. I reach up blindly. My hand ends up touching Makina's chest. This girl never wears any darn underwear, does she? Not that the thought really does much for me. Still, it's not so bad having this ridiculously warm little body on top of mine. A little sweaty, but kind of pleasant in a way. Sometimes irritating, sometimes soothing. Might this be what familial love is? Kind of, without the kissing. As Makina maintains her noisy assault on my tonsils, I softly slip an arm around her back. The girl's so slender, it feels like she might snap if I embrace her too forcefully. Holding her light little body in my arms stirs up powerful protective feelings. Makina, I can't do much, but if nothing else, surely I can manage to keep an idiotic grin on the face of one irritating, sweet little girl. This is what I need to protect. I feel like I'm starting to understand not just the meaning of those words, but also the raw emotions they signify. Covered in her spit, warm, affectionate feelings for the bizarre beast, Kazami Yuuji. Well, it felt like a haiku was warranted, but I didn't manage to work any seasonal words in there. Not my finest effort, but just as I'm smiling at the thought, events take an unanticipated turn. Specifically, a sharp knocking at the door. Followed immediately by a question delivered in a fairly harsh tone of voice. Amane?
Makina の姿が見えないから探してみれば、まさかこんなところでこんなことしてるとはね。お姉さんびっくりよ。
別に変なことをしてたわけじゃないのよ。なんていうかスキンシップなのよ。悪いことしてないのよ。
Why are you kissing Yuuji like that, Makina?
私別に怒ってないわよ。
本当に。
あなたのことは怒ってないわよ。それよりマキナ、時計を見てごらんなさい。もうこんな時間。制服に着替えて学校に行く準備しなきゃ。そうだね。じゃあお部屋に戻って着替えていらっしゃい。お姉ちゃんはちょっとこっちのお兄ちゃんとお話があるから。
Amane flutters her hands in the air in the classic shoo shoo gesture. Makina bites her lower lip, then peers up at Amane's face with upturned eyes.
きつく叱らないでほしいのよ。
叱る？私が？ユージよ。ちょっとお話を聞かせてもらうだけだからね。あんたはほら、さっさと着替えてきなさい。
Cowering like a kitten under the glare of a German shepherd, Makina inches backward, one step, then two. In an instant, she's clear of Amane's potential attack range. The girl turns on her heel and bursts into all-out retreat. Oh, Yuuji, I don't know what's gonna happen to you now. As she watches her young friend scamper off to safety, Amane folds her arms under her breast and slowly swings her head from side to side, producing sharp little cracking sounds. When she finally speaks, her tone is somewhat exasperated.
Sa te, どういうことなのか説明してもらえるのよね、お兄ちゃん。
Nothing to explain, it's just like you saw. Also, it's not Oni-chan anymore. I was promoted to Papa as of yesterday.
は？すみません。おっしゃることがよく理解できないのですが。
Then I'll explain. Take a seat. After settling across the table from Amane, I explained the lay of the land in between bites of sandwiches. One sandwich. First of all, the events surrounding Makina's mysterious message yesterday afternoon. Secondly, the way I felt after learning of the girl's desperate desire for a father. And finally, how I'm planning to interact with Makina from now on.
まあ、言いたいことはなんとなく分かったけれど、それがマキナとキスをしていた理由とどうつながるのかな。
We're father and daughter now. Surely a kiss isn't anything out of the ordinary.
いや、まあ確かにほっぺにチューぐらいはすると思うけど、押し倒した上に舌を絡み合わせるような濃厚なやつは普通しないよね。
Yeah, Makina kind of overdid it. So, unfortunately, I don't have too firm a grasp on the appropriate standard of normality here.
あ、確かにユージの場合、普通って難しいかもね。
Anyway, what I regard as normal doesn't seem to coincide with what Makina wants from me. To be honest with you, I don't really understand what it means to be a father. I'm basically playing it by ear for now. That said, I made Makina a promise, so I intend to do everything I possibly can. I may not have any decent examples to work off, but I do remember the perfect dad I imagined as a child. I'll try to become a father like that.
それってどんな父親？
Let's see, kind but strict, has the answer to any question, teaches the child everything they need to know, a reliable, steady presence. I'll never betray her, and she comes before everything else. She can sleep on my lap without a care in the world. That's the sort of father I want to be.
そっか。そこまで真剣に考えているなら、私はもう何も言わないよ。
Oh, that was a lot easier than I expected.
まあね、あの子に父親が必要だってのは私にも分かってたことだし、いつかはこうなる予感？なんかそんなのもあったしね。ほら、マキナの履いてるブーツあるでしょ？赤羽の茶芯 PT91 のナイフポケット付き。 あれもう結構ボロだけど私のお気に入りでさ。ソール1回ヒール2回張り替えて大事に履いてたんだけど、マキナがどうしても欲しいって言うからあげちゃったんだよね。あの子にお願いされると私どうしても断れなくてさ。
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
あの子にはあんたが必要なんだって認めちゃったんだろうね、私。ああ、またマキナに取られちゃったか。
Amane scratches loudly at her head in a vaguely rueful gesture.
でも父親になったってことは恋人になったわけじゃないのよね。
Right. It's not exactly what being a father involves.
じゃあ私にもまだチャンスは残ってるんだよね。
Like I said, I'm putting Makina first from now on. You're only gonna make yourself miserable if you don't accept that.
誰かが幸せになったら誰かが不幸になるのっておかしいよね。幸せはみんなで分かち合った方がいいじゃない。だからユージをマキナと私の2人で分ければいいのよ。
Share me? How would that work exactly? I'm not a planarian. Cutting me in half won't accomplish much.
簡単じゃん。あんたがあの子の父親になるなら私は母親になればいいんだよ。
Didn't Makina say she already had him on? What? The sandwich I had carried halfway to my mouth nearly drops out of my hand. What the? Hold on. Are you a genius?
え、そんなすごいこと言った覚えはないけど。
I had been prepared to sacrifice everything else for Makina's sake, but I see. To be certain, your daughter and your wife are two entirely different matters. A shameful oversight on my part. Amane's right. A parent exists in the context of a partnership. Surely a real family isn't such a fragmentary thing. Everyone has their roles to play as a piece in the larger puzzle. The one who scolds and the one who comforts. The lecturer and the healer. The protector and the rebel. Surrounded by diverse examples and exposed to various opinions, the children slowly choose their own path. That's probably what a family should be. How could I miss such a simple thing? I'm already a failure as a father. Is he actually going to do this?
いや、母親といっても所詮はごっこ遊びだけどね。
A game, huh?
それでもさ、遊びだからこそ本気になれる年齢なんだよ、私たちは。言ってる意味わかる？
Yeah, my master said something similar when she adopted me. It's not like I can ever be real family to you, but sometimes fake families can grow closer than the genuine article precisely because they're pretending. Like in the military, where the CO is the father, the XO is your mother, and your squad leader is the big brother, sometimes the trust and unity among such groups can be stronger than in a true family. I suppose that makes me the CO of this fledgling division, bearing total responsibility, burdened with the authority to send his pseudo-children to their deaths for their cause. A man who, if driven by necessity, may be left with no choice but to issue just such an order. It seems I was still viewing this responsibility too lightly.
まあ、あんまり思い詰めない方がいいよ。真摯に受け止めるのはいいけど、 責任と責任感を履き違えないようにね。
Responsibility and my sense of responsibility? What the... I feel like I've heard that one before somewhere.
どうかした？
No, it's nothing.
何にせよ、マキナの将来を心配するよりさ、まずは自分の心配をしたら？
Sorry, what's that supposed to mean?
私はほら、物分かりのいい女の子だからいいけど、他の子はどうだろう。
The other girls, what, are classmates? Is me becoming Makina's father going to cause some sort of problem with them?
なんで何も問題がないと思えるのかな。ユージってさ、変に女慣れしてるくせに、そういうとこ鈍いよね。
A certain incident comes to mind from back in the days when I was still a genuine brat, thoroughly unversed in the ways of women. One morning, JB was clearly feeling poorly. Considerate young man that I was, I proceeded to badger her throughout breakfast about the nature of her distress. Ultimately leading to an enraged spell of, "What do you think?" and a thoroughly unpleasant day for the both of us. Amane, my friend, are you referring to some variety of menstrual difficulties?
あんた、真面目な顔して何言ってんのよ。
Well, expecting a man such as myself to divine the subtle workings of the female mind is the height of folly, but in any case, Amane's suggestion that I have something to worry about just doesn't feel convincing. Ever since I was a child, people have been telling me that I think too much, but even I can't see any need to waste my time pondering this. And so, I decided to become Makina's father. Dropping my hand on Makina's head with a thump, I draw my frank, casual announcement to a close. In that instant, the very air of the classroom seems to freeze solid. Takaki's expression is so befuddled, it seems clear that her mind hasn't fully processed the meaning of my words. Michiru's wide-open eyes are full of unspoken questions regarding my sanity. The brush in Tati's hand, running through Michiru's hair only a moment ago, has come to an abrupt halt. Her mouth lies slightly ajar, as if stuck halfway through a question. Although all three have distinctly different reactions, they share one common feature, a long moment of silence. Oh boy. It lasts perhaps 10 seconds before Michiru finally manages to speak.
Ha! あんた何言ってんの?
Didn't you hear? Alright, I'll repeat myself one more time. Withdrawing my hand from Makina's fuzzy head, I clasped my arms behind my back and breathed in a hearty lungful of air.
いや、聞こえなかったわけじゃないから。ただどういう意味なのかなって。
I meant exactly what I said.
だがって言われても。
つまりな、風見雄二はこのイリス・マキナの男になったから、おめえらは手出すんじゃねえぞって、そういうことなのよさ。
And so arrives the second moment of utter silence. Of course, I've actually become Makina's father, and the term man strikes me as a fairly inexact analog in this context. But then again, it's not like this is the first time Makina's displayed a lack of linguistic competence. Hardly worth correcting every little slip of that stubby little tongue. After all, these girls have known Makina longer than me, so I'm sure they can grasp her actual meaning without any need for my interpretation. So that's how it is. Most likely, words along these lines will bring this discussion to an end, and we'll shift on to some other trivial topic like always. But my expectations proved somewhat off the mark, in a simultaneous movement that almost seems choreographed. Sakaki, Chihiro, and Sachi turned their heads to stare at Amane, currently standing by with her arms folded and a wry smile on her face.
なんで私を見る？だってねえ、
急に父親になったと言われても書類の問題とか。
いや、なんつうか父親って言ってもそこまで本意気じゃないっていうか、ごっこ遊びの延長みたいな。ほら、私がマキナのママになってあげるってのノリで。
そういうことでしたか。ようやく特進が行きました。しかし父親プレートはまたマニアックな。
私は結構本気だよ。パパだってたとえ世界中を敵に回しても私を守ってくれるって言ったよ。
Yeah, that I did.
そうじゃないよね。
Of course. Makina is gazing up at me, clear anxiety in her eyes. I drop my hands onto her shoulders and nod firmly. There's no problem. I'm going to take care of you from now on. Back in the old days when I asked my master a similar question, she gave me an answer along these lines. Drop me in the worst hellhole on earth with nothing but a rusty knife and I'll still come back alive. I'm an ultra-high-powered piece of national defense equipment with the nerve and skill to single-handedly annihilate 1,000 terrorists. Well, Yuuji, I do not know how much you'll be able to handle this. I'll use everything I have to raise you into a full-blown adult. You don't need to worry about a thing. But even so, I don't want her to experience the hardships I've known. This is what they call parental love. Shrieking out her own sound effect like a complete airhead, Makina wraps her arms around my waist and hugs me tightly. So I basically adopted a daughter. At this point, for some reason, Amane decides to seize hold of my left arm and smother it between her oversized memories.
なるほど、把握しました。では、私はマキちゃんの使用人ということで、必死。
Seizing the moment, Sachi firmly grasps my right arm and likewise squeezes it against her chest. Hey now. A number of inquiries and complaints regarding this development run through my mind, but I'm discreet enough to keep them to myself. Carefully maintaining her vice-like grasp, Sachi meets my exasperated gaze with upturned eyes as clear and expressionless as glass beads.
何か?
And stares back at me with the cold pupils of a woman who isn't prepared to take no for an answer. Her voice may be calm, but I've learned from experience that Sati's astonishingly stubborn when she gets that look in her eyes. Pointing out that Makina's servant should probably be clinging to Makina probably won't get me out of this.
メイドがいれば便利ですよ。特に私はなかなか開かないポテトチップスの袋を開けるのが得意ですので、無駄にイライラしないで済みます。一家に一人は必要ですね。
If you say so. Rather than keeping a maid around for that, I think it'd be wiser to buy a pair of scissors at the 100 yen shop. I guess Sati's already getting used to it, but I can already see the conversation evolving into a debate on the merits of conspicuous consumption.
バカバカしい。あれ、榊さんは家族ごっこしないの？
Ignoring Amane's teasing voice, Sakaki stalks imperiously back to her seat, where she begins retrieving and arranging her textbooks. Of course, Sakaki never was the type to roll along with this sort of lighthearted farce. She's far too proud to initiate an attempt at compromise.
みちる様はどうされますか？
Caught off guard by the sudden question, Michiru admits an undignified little grunt.
私にどうしろってのよ。だいたいあんたも女の子に抱きつかれて鼻の下を伸ばしてんじゃないわよ。
Do I really look like I'm enjoying this to you? I didn't ask these three to amuse themselves by making a toy out of me. Quite the opposite, actually. My imprisonment in this mass of flesh is quickly getting into sweltering territory, but just as I'm about to point out that the break's going to end soon, Sati's grip on my arm grows even stronger.
まだお分かりにならないのですか、みちる様。
何よ。
今このタイミング、今こそがまさにデレの時なのです。
At Sati's forceful declaration, Michiru's body quivers as though struck by lightning, grasping her own upper arms to keep herself from shaking. She averts her eyes in shock.
何を迷う必要がありますか。さあ、出れましょう。
Her face utterly earnest, Sati nods gravely to herself, then glances around the area thoughtfully.
犬がいませんね。
What?
犬？
幸せな家庭にはペットの犬が欠かせません。
What?
ペットを飼うということは生活のゆとりの表れであり、その家庭の幼い子供はペットを飼うという弱者に対する思いです。
Are you actually serious?
やがて思春期を迎える頃に生き物の死というものを学ぶのです。幸いなことにマキちゃんは以前白い犬が欲しいと言っていました。今ミチル様に対して発生している需要とはまさにそこかと。
それってつまり私に犬の真似をしろと。
Why?
ペットの犬になってユージに甘えろと。あんたはそう言っているのね。
Why would this be okay? As Michiru tentatively summarizes the nature of her situation, Sati nods a silent affirmation.
ご理解が早くて助かります。さあ、泣いてください。
No, don't
ワンと泣くのです。
do that. What
愛らし
the?
くワンワンと泣きながら風見さんの足にひっしとしがみつくのです。うぐではありません。ワンです。 恥ずかしがっている場合ではありませんよ。今こそが不退転の時。自ら交代のネジを取り外したツンデレという生き様を見せつけるのです。さあ。
Beads of greasy sweat rolling down her forehead, Michiru emits a pitifully hoarse groan.
さっちゃんも追い詰めるわね。みちるの顔見てごらんなさいよ。
I didn't agree to this.
なんかもういろいろな価値観が頭の中でぐるぐると渦巻いちゃって吐きそうな顔してるじゃないの。
Well, there's the bell. Alright, you what? You've got class.
次の授業何だったっけ？
次はみんな大好き古文です。居眠りしないように注意しましょう。で、静かだと思ったらマキちゃん寝ちゃってますね。起こしましょうか。
Yeah, if you would.
はい、お任せください。こう見えて私、寝た子を起こす能力にも定評がありますので。
Not sure if that's the best talent for a maid to have.
マキちゃん、起きて。授業が始まっちゃう。ご飯はさっき食べたばかりでしょ。
It's like watching an old man in the grips of dementia being gently chided by his long-suffering daughter-in-law. With some effort, Sachi succeeds in peeling Makina off me, sliding both arms under the limp little creature's armpits. She begins to drag her off like a medic pulling a wounded grunt to cover.
ちょっとサーチ。
はい、何か。
何かじゃないわよ。ちょっとどうしてくれるのよ。
それは何に対してでしょう。というか、私にどうして欲しいのですか。うぐでは分かりません。もっと具体的に何に対してどのような補填をお望みなのか、はっきりと言ってください。さあ。ご自分の中の苛立ちの正体がうまく言葉にできないのですね。わかります。それが今時の無軌道な若者というものでしょう。大丈夫です。そんな時はとりあえず弱者をいじめておけばいいのです。振り上げた拳の収めどころにお悩みでしたら、私の方をお貸ししましょう。それでみちる様の憤りが晴れるのであれば、さあどうぞお打ちください。みちる様、どちらへ。もうすぐ授業が。
Why don't you let her be for the moment? I'm not sure I entirely understand, but the girl seems to have been hurt somehow. It's just getting very weird. Shaking her head in sorrowful disappointment, Sachi proceeds to drag Makina off. Things took a rapid turn for the manic, so I'm not entirely confident we've reached a common understanding. But for the time being, I'd relate the news of my new position as Makina's father to our classmates. That That said, it's too early to rest. There's someone else I need to file a report with. Honestly speaking, this one probably should have come first. Why does everyone react the exact same way to this news?
あなたの言っていることがそれだけ非常識だという証拠でしょ
As soon as lunchtime rolled around, I headed up to the rooftop, cell phone in hand. I'm currently enjoying a pleasant conversation with shaggy-headed Julia. That is, Hard-Air Yuria, also known as JB. In the old days, senior officers in the Navy were apparently required to receive permission from the Bureau of Personnel before entering into marriage. Given their access to various secrets, even their partners were subject to scrutiny. As a dog picked up by Akasaka and kept in the custody of Ichigaya, my situation is very similar. Making intimate friends requires approval from above. Might sound a bit ridiculous, but given that incident 3 years ago where an agent's foreign wife supposedly helped leak info from inside Ichigaya, it's hard to laugh off as mere paranoia. Had that blunder occurred in America, death sentences for treason wouldn't have been out of the question. Even in Japan, the so-called spy heaven, they've gotten much more cautious about potential honey traps since then.
つまり何？イリスマキナを養女として引き取りたいってこと？
Not exactly. I just promised her to become her father, that's all.
何よそれ。結局は口約束だけなんでしょ？
Well, yes, but I figured I should report it now to avoid potential headaches later.
結婚するわけでもあるまいし、その程度でいちいち文句言わないわよ。と言いたいところだけど、相手がイリスマキナともなると、そうも言っていられないのよね。
What's that supposed to mean?
意味も何も、産業や流通はもとより、何代にもわたって数多くの政治家を輩出しては内政や外交にも深く関与しているイリス家。しかも宗家の長女よ。本来であれば同じ学園に通うことですら危惧されるところだけれど、あなたは現状予備役の身だし、イリスマキナにしても本家からは絶縁されているような状態だし、それにうちの組織とも無関係というわけでもないしね。
Really? What kind of relationship do we have?
何だったかな。ちょっと待って。
I can hear the muffled sound of JB tapping away at her keyboard on the other end of the call.
イリスマキナの父親、イリス・マサタカは防衛省管理部の会計官だったみたいね。数年前に事故死してるけど。
An accidental death.
書類上はね、実際のところは事件に巻き込まれて殺害されたみたいだけど。ってあれ？
What's wrong?
あらら、これはちょっと結構複雑かも。ああ、事故死ってそっちの事故死として処理されてるんだ。
What are you talking about? Am I giving a coherent explanation?
あなたが国家に反逆すれば自己死するでしょ。同じ意味での自己死よ。つまり、このイリス・マサタカさんは国家に不利益をもたらす存在として処理されたのね。
Is he not really dead? Oh, were we the ones who disposed of him?
違うみたい。
Is he... If Makina's father had been dealt with by my colleagues, I'm not sure how I would have been able to face the girl. Hey JB, mind putting all the material we got on this together and sending it over to me?
ダメよ。一応部外費なんだから。本当ならこうして口頭で伝えるのも義務違反なのよ。
I understand that I'm asking the unreasonable, but is there any way you can bend the rules on this one?
そんなもの知ってどうするのよ。
I'll decide once I have it. Can you help me out, JB? Please, Julia.
もう分かったわよ。送ってあげるけど、出せる情報にも限界はあるから、あまり期待しないでちょうだい。
Understood. I'm in your debt. This is just going to get very weird. More or less figured out that Makina came from a wealthy family, and I was aware that her father passed away some time ago. But I certainly didn't expect her to be part of a clan so deeply involved with national affairs, much less one connected to us, however indirectly. On top of it all, Makina is the eldest daughter of the head family, but somehow ended up being cast out. The information is far too fragmentary for me to even speculate, but there must be some complex circumstances involved.
Papa, こんなところにいた。もう探したのよ。こんなとこで何してるのよさ。一緒にお弁当食べようと思って待ってたのに。
Sorry. Even as I'm sliding the cell phone back into my shirt pocket, I drop my other hand onto my indignant young friend's head. I was just doing a little thinking.
何か悩み事？
No, nothing serious.
私のことで何か悩んでたり？
I said it's nothing. You're sensitive about the weirdest things sometimes, Makina. I proceed to muss the girl's hair around vigorously. Not that it's anything as dramatic as you seem to think, but I'll admit to worrying about our new arrangement. I told you I'd become your father, but I don't have the first clue what that specifically involves. Pretty pathetic, right? I've been thinking about it constantly.
それでいいのよ。別に何か特別なことをしてほしいわけじゃないし。でも一個だけ約束してくれる？
What's that?
死なないでね。
No can do. Everyone who lives eventually dies.
そりゃあそうかもしれんけど。じゃあパパが私を殺してくれる？
Sorry, I don't follow the logic here.
だってパパが死ぬところを見たくないから。
I see. She doesn't want to see her father die. I guess that's only normal. All the more understandable in Makina's case, given the loss of her actual father at a young age. It's natural for a child to be dependent on her parents, and this death was abrupt, apparently violent. Although the circumstances were different, I lost my entire family early on, so I can imagine what it must have been like. The impact of losing your immediate family takes time to sink in. Immediately after the loss, you don't feel sorrow as much as numbness. So much as numbness. As the days roll past, you'll slowly come to realize that you're alone, that you'll never see them again. When you're finally able to process the fact that you're on your own from now on, emotions hit you like a truck. Anxiety so strong it's more like terror, despair cold enough to leave you shivering, sorrow that turns your legs to jelly.
私のために死のうだなんて思わないでね。迷惑だから。
She wants me to kill her before I die. I totally noticed.
お腹空いたのよさ。ご飯にしよう。お弁当持ってきたのよ。ほら。
Indeed, there's a stylish little lunch basket dangling from Makina's stubby fist. What, did you make this? So it's Amane's work then?
サンドイッチ作ったのは私だよ。でもフライとかコールスローとか作ったのはアマネ。
Makina flips open the lid of her basket to demonstrate. One half is packed with sandwiches of some kind. Next to them are a variety of side dishes, fish fritters and french fries, carrots and cabbage, finely sliced ham, and spiral-shaped macaroni garnished with coleslaw. What can I say? No matter what Amane makes, she does a thorough job.
一応ね、私もアマネにお料理習ってたりするんだよ。
By the way, Makina, tell me something.
何さん？
What's this hemispherical yellow sandwich supposed to be?
それはメロンパンサンドなのよ。半分に切ったメロンパンに果肉たっぷりのメロンジャムとふんわりとホイップした生クリームがたっぷりサンドしてあるのよさ。スイーツ感覚でお腹も大満足なのよ。
I think this thing is pretty much the definition of a dessert, actually. Do we not have any conventional sandwiches?
普通のは今朝食ったべよ。だからお昼は甘いのにしてみた。
I see. So what, we're going to be eating this sugary abomination as the main course while munching on fish fritters and coleslaw? What kind of taste combination is that going to be? I mean, I'm usually pretty indifferent to such culinary concerns, but this is still making me a little dubious. Well, it's all the same once you've got it in your stomach.
お？やっぱあれかい？パパは甘くない方が良かった？
That is, if you can actually eat it. Well, it's not like I dislike sweet things on principle, but...
じゃあ明日はメロンパンに焼きそばを挟んだ焼きそばメロンパンにするね。
Don't go stuffing random things in there. I feel sorry for the melon buns.
待ってよ。メロンパンをメロンパンで挟むダブルメロンパンというのはどうなのよさ。
And that's quite the unconventional combination.
ど
Okay.
私自分の才能が恐ろしい
I see. Sounds as though a new day will soon be dawning on the melon bun industry. Laughing wryly despite myself, I give Makina's head another 2 firm pats for good measure. I have to say, this head is in a perfect position. The thought naturally brings a smile to my face. That startles me a little. I'm aware that I've been getting a little careless since I've come to this school. Sometimes I let down my guard without even noticing it. But then again, I suppose it's probably a more normal mode of existence than the alternative. Sorry, it's nothing. I'm hungry. Let's eat. And so I ate lunch alone with Makina. It's only 10 minutes later that I discovered this decision was somewhat thoughtless.